Huge tension at McLaren. You can feel it in the first corner, in the pit wall's radio voice, in the way two brilliant drivers glance across the garage and wonder who the team really believes in. After Singapore, Oscar Piastri isn't just annoyed, he's openly questioning the rules of engagement. Lando Norris isn't backing down either. He calls it hard racing. And McLaren, fresh off back-to-back Constructors titles, suddenly has the most delicate problem in Formula One, managing a title fight inside its own car. Here's the scene that rewired the whole season. Singapore. Lap 1. Norris launches from P5, Piastri from P3. Lando clips Max Verstappen while trying to avoid rear-ending the Red Bull, rebounds into the inside line, and bumps Piastri as he lunges for track position. The stewards let it go. McLaren let it go. At least during the race. Piastri's radio crackles with a line that tells you everything. That wasn't very team-like. So are we cool with Lando just barging me out of the way? The reply from his engineer, Tom Stallard, is corporate calm. We see it as Lando avoiding Max. No action for now. Review later. Piastri answers, "That's not fair." The ground rules, as Martin Brundle put it, had just changed. This isn't happening in a vacuum. McLaren's official stance, the papaya rules, is equal treatment and no contact. Zak Brown keeps repeating it. Let them race, but don't touch. After Singapore, he doubled down. Same rules. Detailed review on Monday. No mid-race swaps. In public, that reads like brave neutrality. In private, with a world championship at stake, neutrality can feel like a verdict. Piastri led the standings, leaving Singapore by 22 points. Max Verstappen lurks 63 back with ominous momentum. And Norris, by keeping the place on lap 1, ate into Oscar's margin. Every point now is political oxygen, and the tension is bigger than a single corner. Think of the season as a chessboard where tiny grey calls add up. Hungary. Strategy divergence puts Norris on the winning route, while Oscar, who looked like the lead McLaren, ends up the foil. Monza. A slow stop for Lando, a pit sequence quirk for Oscar, and then the radio asking Piastri to hand the place back. Explainable on paper, combustible in a title fight. None of these is a smoking gun. Together they're a feeling. Drivers live on feelings. When the gap in a championship is a handful of points, the difference between "we tried" and "we chose" is the whole story. It does not help that the rumor mill is on fire. In the days after Singapore, Swiss outlet Blick reported that Piastri has his eye on Ferrari for 2027. Some English sites amplified it. If a Ferrari seat opens once the 2026 rules settle, Maranello want the calm, clinical racer who's been leading this year's championship. You can read that as leverage, as long-range planning, or as smoke without flame. But in a garage already vibrating with suspicion, it lands. It says out loud what every elite driver keeps in a drawer. If you won't make me your project, someone else will. Let's be fair to McLaren. This isn't a soap opera team. It's the most complete race operation of 2025. Fast pit stops, brave upgrades, execution that won a Constructors title with 6 races to spare. Their CEO says both drivers are free to fight. Their team principal promises analytical debriefs, not impulse decisions. Their policy is logical. Don't micromanage greatness. The problem is that greatness in duplicate is volatile. When 2 number ones share one garage, let them race only works until the first tap. From that moment, every start, every undercut window, and every box carries the taste test of fairness. In pure driving terms, both deserve this title. Norris has polished his aggression into control. His qualifying laps this year have been outrageous. His race pace on the medium compound is often the benchmark. Piastri's gift is invisible speed, a minimum error style that keeps tires alive and pit walls calm. He doesn't waste the car. He makes the car inevitable. That composure is why he's still in front after the chaos. And it's exactly why the team can't afford a trust deficit. When Oscar believes the system is fair, he's a points machine. When he doesn't, he still drives fast. but the air in the garage thins. Mid-video pit stop. If you're into this kind of inside-the-paddock storytelling, hit subscribe, drop a like, and tell me in the comments, should McLaren step in more, or let Norris and Piastri sort it on track? Your take shapes the next deep dive. Back to the pressure cooker. The Austin Sprint Plus race double is next. Then Mexico, where Verstappen owns the air. Brazil, where chaos is a habit. Vegas, where cold tires rewrite physics. Qatar, with its tire brutality. And Abu Dhabi, with its political gravity. This is the worst possible calendar for indecision. Every weekend offers 2 or 3 moments where an internal nudge becomes a title swing. If McLaren keep equal but vague, they risk leaking points. If they tilt visibly toward either driver, they risk detonating a relationship. The art is to be equal and specific. Now about favoritism. The internet wants a villain. It's clean to say McLaren favors Norris because he's the long-serving face, or favors Piastri because he's leading and holds the hot hand. The reality is noisier. What looks like favoritism is often a line ball strategy called judged in hindsight. What sounds like favoritism is often one garage hearing only its own compromises. But perception matters. That's why the Singapore radio exchange hit like a flare. It put feelings on tape. When Brundle says the ground rules changed, he means the drivers now believe the other will go to the edge, and the team will not intervene on Sunday. That belief changes how you defend, how you send it, and whether you leave a car width with your own logo on it. The other live wire is contractual gravity. Piastri is locked in on a multi-year deal through at least 2028. It was the feel-good story of early 2025. A rising champion committing long-term to the team that brought him to the front. But those same months gave us the first rumor that in 2027, if the planets align, Ferrari would make a play. In modern F1, locked in means expensive to extract, not impossible. If McLaren want to slam that door shut, they don't need bigger words. They need smaller controversies. Meanwhile, external noise keeps feeding the narrative. A separate off-track legal fight with ex-reserve Alex Palou blew up headlines about who McLaren promised what in the past. And inevitably, that bled into the fan discourse about current favoritism. Brown called those claims ludicrous, but the timing didn't help. When you're trying to sell equal footing in the hottest title fight of the decade, you don't want court transcripts muddying the vibe. The sport remembers stories more than statements. You can make a strong, sober case that McLaren are trying to do the right thing, not overmanage, not pick a public favorite, and keep 2 championship-level drivers motivated. The trouble is, the championship doesn't grade intentions, it grades execution. The lap 1 tap in Singapore didn't just cost Oscar clean air, it cost McLaren narrative control. Now, every time Lando gets the first stop, Oscar's fans call foul. Every time Oscar gets track position, Lando's fans say team orders in disguise. That's not sustainable across a 6-race run-in with Verstappen stalking. So where does this actually go? If McLaren bring hard clarity to the next incident, a real-time remedy if there's contact, a transparent priority logic under safety cars, and alternating first calls when both are in the same race window. They can keep both drivers on side, both cars in play, and drown out the rumors. If they don't, the story writes itself. Verstappen picks their pockets while orange fights orange, and winter becomes a referendum on who the team truly believes in. Either way, the next decision isn't about PR lines. It's about lap 1 in Austin, the first pit window in Mexico, the safety car roll in Brazil, and how a radio call sounds when a championship is breathing down the microphone.